Dripping in gold, decked out with opulent finishes, or harboring some seriously unusual extras, these flashy mansions were once home to mafia dons, fraudsters, drug lords, or diabolical dictators. Until the fateful day when their luck ran out. Bankrolled with the proceeds of their crime and corruption, prepare for your jaw to drop as we take you through some of the world's most infamous estates, all funded by ill-gotten gains. Up first, we have Bernie Madoff's Manhattan Penthouse. A fraudulent financier of shocking proportions, Bernie Madoff duped his clients out of a staggering $64.5 billion, operating the biggest financial fraud in U.S. history and what's thought to be the world's largest Ponzi scheme. The law finally caught up with the New York-based swindler, and he was jailed in 2009 for 150 years. In April of 2021, Madoff passed away in federal prison at the age of 82. Madoff managed to amass an impressive property portfolio before he was eventually caught. His plush penthouse apartment on the Manhattan's exclusive Upper East Side was one of the finest residences in his collection, and also the location of his arrest in December of 2008 after posting a $10 million bail. He was placed under 24-hour house arrest in this apartment until his trial. The neoclassical style apartment building was constructed in 1927, and Madoff and his wife Ruth moved into the desirable top-floor duplex in 1984. Spanning almost 4,000 square feet, the Madoff's luxurious former home has recently hit the market for a significant $15 million. While the interior has undergone a modern makeover, many of its historic features remain the same, as the latest listing images show. Accessed by an elevator, the property has a total of 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, plus a number of beautiful sprawling reception rooms that overlook Manhattan. Views from the property extend as far as the Big Apple's iconic Chrysler Building. Federal authorities sold off Madoff's penthouse in 2010 following the swindler's incarceration. Toy tycoon Alfred Kahn, the magnate behind the Cabbage Patch Dolls, bought the residence for $8.9 million. His wife Patsy reportedly fell in love with the skyline views, but Alfred was concerned about the home's karma. It's not hard to see why Patsy was drawn to the property. This curved landing with its towering ceiling and sweeping staircase is nothing short of spectacular. When compared to the press photos taken in 2009 following Bernie's conviction, the narrow kitchen is relatively unchanged from when the Madoffs used the space, though the older appliances have been switched out for state-of-the-art models. With its luxurious marble-clad walls, the main bathroom appears much as it was over a decade ago too, though contemporary fixtures such as black-lit vanity mirrors bring the spa-like space up to date. During the sale, the pair reportedly separated and divorced. This unfortunate series of events has caused some to speculate that the penthouse is cursed. Belongings from the Madoff's Manhattan penthouse were auctioned off at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Proceeds from the sales went to compensate the victims of his fraudulent scheme. Up next, we go to Joe Lo's LA mansion. Malaysian businessman Joe Lo, who helped finance the production of the movie Wolf of Wall Street. Lo is currently a fugitive wanted by the FBI for his alleged involvement in Malaysia's multi-billion-dollar corruption scandal. According to the indictment, Lo is accused of conspiracy to launder billions of dollars in an illegal proceeds, but he denies any wrongdoing. In 2012, before he fled the US, Lo splashed $39 million on the sleek contemporary mansion in the affluent celebrity hotspot of LA's Hollywood Hills. With its sleek glass exterior and dazzling front deck overlooking the city skyline, the trophy home is a modern masterpiece. After Lo fled the country, the federal authorities seized the head-turning mansion and listed it on the market. This 6-bedroom, 7-bathroom property was eventually sold in 2019 for the knockdown price of $18.5 million, significantly lower than the asking price of $24.5 million, and less than half of what Lo paid for it. Constructed in the 1980s, the Wow Factor party pad was completely overhauled by top developer Niall Niami and reborn as a 13,000 square foot glass mega mansion, complete with expansive open concept living spaces, floor-to-ceiling windows, a separate guest house, and a guard shack. Bizarrely, Joe Lo spent the little amount of time he had in this mansion removing its fixtures and fittings, and when the property was put up for sale, much of the work done by Niall Niami and his team had been destroyed. Still, the buyer got one heck of a deal and will likely stand to make a reasonable profit for the next time the house goes on the market. Up next, we go to Pablo Escobar's Mexican Hideaway. Estimated to have been worth up to $30 billion before his death in the 1990s, notorious drug lord Pablo Escobar was one of the richest villains in history. The Colombian criminal was the founder and leader of the infamous Medellin cartel, and at his height he was responsible for over 80% of the cocaine that entered into the United States. While his main residence was located in Colombia, the king of cocaine also owned this idyllic hideaway in Tulum, Mexico. Secluded and shielded by dense foliage, it's the ultimate criminal hideout where Escobar would lie low and elude the FBI and Colombian police. The beachfront estate featured bulletproof walls and would have been heavily guarded. Despite the many precautions he took to stay safe, the Colombian cartel boss was shot dead in his hometown in December of 1993. Following Escobar's death, the Paradise property in Tulum was effectively abandoned to its elements. It was eventually acquired in 2012 by New York art dealer Leo Malco, who converted the mansion into a 71-room 5-star hotel called Casa Malco, which is now regarded as one of Mexico's finest. Highlights of the hotel include a secret underground swimming pool built in a cave where Escobar is said to have hidden vast sums of cash. Other draws include priceless pieces of art, plus 2 restaurants serving exquisite cuisine and blissful beach gardens complete with swings and hammocks. Up next, we go to Bernie Madoff's Hamptons beach house. As well as his Manhattan penthouse, Madoff also owned this breathtaking beach house in the Hamptons. Nestled amongst the picturesque sand dunes, the property sits on 2 acres of prime real estate in New York's affluent vacation hotspot. Records show that Madoff and his wife Ruth purchased a plot of land in the 1980s for $250,000 and set about building the beach house we see today. Before it sold off by U.S. Marshals in 2009, the house, though super valuable, had become decidedly dated and was described by a local agent as a 1980s dump set in a fabulous location. The new owner, Stephen Roth, and his wife, Tony Award-winning producer Dow Roth, picked up the mansion for $9.5 million and are about to give it a major makeover. The couple hired a very famous architect to oversee the revamp of the 3,000 square foot house, which now has a total of 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Despont, the architect, pretty much ripped out everything and even went as far as to create this stunning double-height great room with vaulted barrel ceilings, as well as moving the front door from the 2nd floor to the 1st. Other desirable features of the renovated property include the 30-foot stone fireplace, an expansive smart home automation system, and the stunning free-formed swimming pool. The residence was previously listed for just under $20 million in 2018. It was relisted again in 2020 and now it's back on the market again for $22.5 million. Up next, we have Ferdinand Marcos' extravagant palace. Presiding over a regime that has gone down in history as especially brutal and corrupt, Ferdinand Marcos was the president of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. Accused of rigging elections and using martial law to assume absolute power over the country, Marcos amassed a reported fortune up to $10 billion while in office. The dictator and his shoe-loving wife, Imelda, plundered hundreds of millions of dollars into their lavish lifestyle, including a vast real estate portfolio. They had a long list of mansions at their disposal, and this palace in the city was among their collection. Packed with pricey art and antiques, the pair had the opulent 21,500 square foot mansion constructed in the late 1970s. The shopaholic First Lady also had shrines built around the house, along with a heritage museum. Top artists were appointed to paint numerous portraits of Imelda to adorn the home's walls. This picture of her rising from the sea like a goddess is surrounded by gold mosaic tiling, gilded antique furniture, and elaborate light fixtures, all of which undoubtedly came with a hefty price tag. The master bedroom is as grandiose as the other rooms in the property, with a regal canopy bed and no end of elaborate gold finishes. Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos were forced to flee the Philippines following the 1986 People Power Revolution, leaving behind many of their mansions. Today, this home is open to the public and serves as a monument to the couple's excess. Up next, we go to Charles Ponzi's Massachusetts home. The man who perfected the fraudulent investing scheme that bears his name, Charles Ponzi is one of the most prolific con men of all time. Operating in the US and Canada, the swindler would pay out returns to clients with other investors' money. He snapped up this handsome colonial revival home in Lexington, Massachusetts in 1920, mere months before he was arrested and charged with 86 counts of mail fraud. At the time of the property's purchase, Ponzi was pulling in just over $250,000 a day from his various scams, the equivalent of $3.2 million in today's money. The fat income enabled the fraudster to hire servants, including a butler and a cook, as well as splurging on all manner of luxuries, from silk wallpaper to air conditioning and heated swimming pool. Unfortunately for him, Ponzi wasn't able to enjoy the opulence of his home as he went on to serve 14 years in jail for his crimes. The mansion was purchased by an eminent lawyer who held on to it for 70 years. The 7-bedroom, 5.5-bathroom home was last sold in 2015 for $2.5 million. It has since been remodeled, but many of the original features Ponzi installed, including the moldings and original zinc sinks in the butler's pantry, remain in place. The elegant dining room with its huge dining table, regal wallpaper, and chandeliers is likely to look similar in the 1920s when Ponzi lived here. This property also features a carriage house and almost an acre of idyllic gardens, a far cry from the cell Ponzi occupied during his long stretch behind bars. Up next, we go to Nikolai Ceausescu's mansion. In the 1970s and 80s, while Romania was drowning in debt and citizens faced food rationing and extreme poverty, communist dictator Nikolai Sheskus lived a life of extreme luxury. While many lived in constant fear of secret police, Sheskus and his wife Alina set about designing the most opulent dwelling imaginable. Also known as Spring Palace, his Bucharest home was a showcase of his ill-gotten wealth. Built in the 1960s, the vast residence features an ornate columned entrance and an intricate marble facade. The mansion's opulent principal reception room is loaded with gilded furniture, lashings of marble, pricey artworks, a sparkling chandelier, and a sprawling Persian carpet. With no expense spared, the space is awash with gold finishes and expensive materials. The master bedroom of the dictator's lavish home was totally kitted out, with gold furniture and copious gilding, along with priceless Murano glass mirrors and yet another crystal chandelier. Nikolai also installed a striking indoor swimming pool, hiring Bucharest's best artisans to adorn the pool with mosaic tiles and swaths of marble. Dripping in gold, the most ostentatious finishes were saved for the very expensive bathroom. From the tabs to the toilet roll holders, the fixtures are made from solid gold. The dictator's rule came to an end in 1989 during the Romanian Revolution. Sheskus and his wife were convicted of genocide and executed by firing squad on Christmas Day. The property of the Romanian government, the palace is now a museum. Alright everyone, I think that's going to wrap this video up. Like I mentioned in the beginning, follow all my social media, and also 50% of the people who watch me don't subscribe. So just if you're watching, just click the subscribe button. It's free. It means a lot. And then an alternative option would be to become a member, which costs a couple dollars, but then, you know, I'll be calling you guys, FaceTiming you guys. You get cool badges, you get exclusive videos. I'll be making videos that I can't show, like public channel. So you guys get a ton of cool features and by clicking here and becoming a member. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys. Thank you for the constant support. Feel free to share this video on anything, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.